It's 4:30 and it's time to start. So you've joined Toastmasters. Now what? Well, Darrell Klar, our expert presenter today, is going to take us through that journey. Over to you, Darrell.
Thanks very much, Janine, and hello to everybody watching. And hello if you're watching the recording. First off, welcome to Toastmasters. It's great to have you join us. I'd just like to start acknowledging that we do meet on the lands of a traditional people. Obviously, online we have different uh, areas. I'm in South Australia, so I'm on the traditional lands of the Kaurna people, and I'd just like to recognise and pay tribute to their connection with land, sea, and air, and acknowledge their elders, past and present. A little bit about me before we start. So, my name is Darrell Klar. I joined Toastmasters back in 2011. And with that period, I initially joined because I'm a technical trainer. I stand in classrooms and large crowds giving training on very technical information. And one day I recognized that I was putting myself to sleep. So I thought I needed to find a way of how to communicate and educate in a fun manner. So in my time in Toastmasters, I've not only gone through and done so many speeches, it's too numerous to count now, but I've also had roles working as the education and training coordinator for South Australia for a number of years. I was also on the panel that assisted with the development of Pathways education program. So it's been a passion of mine to not only join Toastmasters to learn how to speak and how to lead, but also to help others do exactly that as well. Just a quick note, if you are watching this in the future, this is being recorded on the 27th of April, 2025. So as we go through, you might notice a few small changes. The basics will be there. So the framework will be there, but you might find the location of some elements will might be slightly different. If there is a major update, of course, we'll hold another session and re-record that. But what we're going to look at today is if you've just joined Toastmasters and you want to know what are you doing? What's there for you? Or if you've been in Toastmasters for a while and you just want to get a quick overview, we're looking at about 45 minutes on what Pathways is, then this is for you. So, to do that, we're going to get some sharing happening so you can watch me do everything in real time and then be able to see it all happen live. The best place to start is toastmasters.org. This is where Toastmasters will have everything you need to know. Now, a lot of clubs have their own websites with great information, but if you want to know anything about anything Toastmasters, this is the place to be. When you first come here, there is a lot of information that's available for you, and that's all for another video about, what is Toastmasters, how we can get learning, what are the benefits, what have other people found. So today we're just going to focus on you being a new member. So the first thing you'll want to do is to log in. So at the top up here is a login text. Once you click that, it will take you to the page where you log in. Now, when you first join, you don't actually have an account for your profile set up yet. Your club will have set up you on Toastmasters International. However, the actual uh, profile will not be there. Provide your email address on your membership sign up form that you've provided to your club. You need to use that same email address so that it can link your profile to your club's registration of you as a Toastmasters member. Here, the first time you come, This hasn't been set up yet. So you have down here, first time logging in, create a password. And so you need to select that. And when you select that, it will come up with another screen, enter your email, send verification code. And that's when you'll get that email. And what happens then is you just copy that code from the email, and eventually something that I can show you now is you will go back to the website, enter in the code, and you'll see a screen saying the code has been verified and you can now continue. Okay, so it's recognized my email address. It sent me an email. I've entered the verification code provided in that email. Once you've entered your email in, your verification code in, you'll get that screen that I just showed, which means you'll then be able to come back, enter in your email address, and this just happens to be one of mine. I'll enter in the password. Now, when you see welcome and then your name, you know you're logged in. So the first thing we're going to have a look at very quickly is my profile. So my profile is where you can check your setup. One of the first things that will happen once you've provided your password is you will get a page around the My Privacy and Consents. So you'll be asked to provide information to Toastmasters about how much you want to be contacted, how private you want to be. So you'll actually get a bigger screen than this, but I'm using this here now to show that you can choose whether you want to be one of the first to know about opportunities with events, receiving emails related to Toastmasters education progress and completion. I would suggest, even if you don't do any other elements, have this one turned on, because you'll need to know when different parts of your training program are due and when they're completed. Club members or speech crafters request feedback, you can turn that on or off. Receive promotions related to Toastmasters, you can turn that on or off. This one is a default. So this one is just stating that you understand as a member, receive emails regarding online accounts. So Toastmasters has to be able to send you emails about your profile. So this is just a yes, you can't change that. Then it asks about your offline. So are you happy to receive snail mail? Are you happy to receive phone calls? Are you happy if your information is passed on to third parties? Now, these three are completely up to you. I know people that are more than happy with everything because they're not really online, so they'd prefer, a phone call or technology like that, and that's completely fine. This final one here is your name on public reports. And this is an interesting one because when your club and your area and your division and your district will look at reports, it's whether they can see your name or just your membership number. Okay, so it's whether you are happy with Toastmasters leadership to be able to see who you are. My strong recommendation, just because it makes it a lot easier for leaders, is to turn this on. Okay. And that way, the only change it does is when a report is run for leadership, it will have your name instead of this random series of numbers for your membership. It's no big deal. You're a member of Toastmasters. Leadership knows you're a member of Toastmasters. It's just whether you want your name being available on reports or not. Strongly suggest yes, but again, completely up to you. So you can save your privacy and consent. Toastmasters is very, very particular to ensure everything is covered in terms of your privacy. You can edit other details. You've got your personal details here, so you can change your phone number, your email. You also have your mailing address. You can download your data. So if you want to know what data Toastmasters has of you, You can download your data and see exactly what they've got. It'll be your name, it'll be your club, and a few other profile things that we just had a look at. Feel free to do this if you want. It's not something I've ever used before, but it's good to know that you can ask Toastmasters to say, "Hey, what information do you have on me?" If you click download all your account information, they will willingly let you know the information they have on you. You can find out information about your club, order history, membership history, all lots of things that will happen down the track. We won't go into that now, but all of that is available in your profile. So up here, my profile will bring you to this page where you can access and control everything Toastmasters knows about you and how they contact you. Okay, very important. Alrighty, let's get into the crux of things now. If we go to my home, this is where things are lots of fun because the first thing you want to do is choose your path. Okay, now as part of your registration with Toastmasters, you get a path. Once you complete that path down the track, you can purchase more paths, but your initial membership fee gives you a free path to choose. So you'll need to select this. So I'm going to select this now and let's go through and choose a path. First thing, because Toastmasters is worldwide, what language do you want? So clubs have lots of different languages that they meet in. Here in Australia, most often we're English, but as you can see, there are other options as well. So 9 times out of 10, unless you're in a club that meets overseas and has a language, you'd select English. Now, to select your learning path, there's a couple of ways you can do it. The most common and suggested for new members to Toastmasters is the path known as presentation mastery. Okay, now there's a number of paths, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. But presentation mastery is a core skill set that strengthens public speaking skills, managing difficult audiences, and a bit of how to influence and persuade others to your thoughts. So you can just go, yep, I'm happy with that, and select that straight up, and you don't need to worry about anything else. You can just dive straight in. Or you can view all path options. So there are a number of paths, and the number's changing all the time. There's new ones that come. There are others that get removed when they're no longer popular. So you can have a look at all the paths and make a choice. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Or you can take an assessment. And so this third option here is basically a couple of questions. I think it's about 10 or 12 questions about what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve from Toastmasters. And by taking that assessment, the system will then say, well, based on this, we'd suggest this particular path for you. Okay, so if you want to take an assessment and have the system choose for you, you can take that, or you can come in and view all path options. So let's just do that so we can see all the paths that are available. Currently, there are 6. The first one, as mentioned, the most recommended is presentation mastery. Okay, now what you can do, there's links under each one, and you can open these in a new tab. No, it's got to be on this page. So it brings up a window that basically has a bit of a summary, what it is, and you can even go in and view the projects in the path. Okay, now I'm not going to jump into it here because you can do that in your own time, but essentially it will list the core projects, and then there's elective projects as well. So you have the opportunity to design your learning your way. You can choose the projects that you want to do. The second one, dynamic leadership, is negotiating and managing change, leadership skills for any situation. So we've got speaking, leadership, and here's humor. So engaging humor is another popular path. It improves any speech and delivers a message with laughter. So if you're looking to become a bit more of an entertainer instead of a drab tech delivery with lots of acronyms and things and putting your crowd to sleep, then engaging humor is a good one. There's another one here, motivational strategies. This is emotional intelligence and team building. So if at work you're working with a team and you want to learn how to work with them and keep things going, motivational strategies is a good one to go there. Persuasive influence, conflict resolution, high level leadership. Okay, so again, another leadership one to go with the dynamic leadership is persuasive influence. And then finally, visionary communication. If you're at the strategic level at work and you specifically need to be able to inspire and help others see your vision, there's a lot of projects within this path that teaches you how to do that. Okay. So just for today, we're going to choose presentation mastery and hit continue. They say you've selected presentation mastery. Are you sure? If you hit continue, that's it. Okay, so remember you only get one free one. If you hit continue, that's it. That's your free one. You can go back to path options and have a look again. Okay, but we're going to say continue. It's going to process all of that and then it's going to become available for us. Okay, now I just want to check a few other things from our home page before we go into our pathway because there's a few. Oh, hello. Let's refresh that. It should recognize that I've already chosen. Something else that's here is Leadership Central. So as a member, you can look at club officer roles and tutorials for those roles. So down the track, once you've got experience and you want to get into leadership, that's there for you as well. And then there's just other items that the organization would like to give you. So meeting tools, we'll talk more about this in a little bit. Udly, have a look at it. It's definitely going to be another video, but this comes free with your membership and it is worth its weight in gold and then some. But we'll talk about that in another video. This will look slightly different because this is my profile. However, there's a few things here that I want you to see. So this is what you should see when you log in. Okay, instead of select your path, it's go to Basecamp. So Basecamp is where you access your path from. But here as well, you recognize down here we've got Leadership Central and those other things that I told you about. But here we've got the Learning Hub and the Achievement Board. Okay. Please hear this. If there's anything you want to know about anything, Toastmasters, the Learning Hub has your answer in the navigator. Okay, so if you view the navigator, this is every question answered that you could think of. So about Toastmasters in general, your Toastmasters club, how to do speeches and evaluations, the Pathways learning experience itself, and expanding your journey by looking at advanced leadership positions. So you can come in here. So let's say your Toastmasters club, for example. What happens during a meeting? How can I participate? So you can hit learn more and there's information and videos about what to expect. You can see speakers or there are evaluators. What skills will I develop being an evaluator? The Toastmaster role, table topics master. So these terms you might recognize as a new member. Hopefully you've visited a few meetings as a guest. You can find out. So it's not as though you need to jump in without knowing. Now, there's lots of people in your club that are going to help, but you can come here in your own time and read about these roles. Now, every club is slightly different and does things their own idiosyncrasies. But in here are the general information about Toastmasters and how the clubs run worldwide. So that's just about the Toastmasters Club. If you want to find out about speeches and evaluations, you can come in here. When do I present my first speech? How do I cope with my fear of public speaking? There is so much information in the Navigator. It is the best kept secret in Toastmasters International website. I highly recommend, whether you're brand new or if you've been in Toastmasters for 10 years and haven't checked out the Navigator, it is definitely worth it. Okay. I'm just going to jump back to home. And I mentioned that we had the Learning Hub. We also have the Achievement Board. So this is where we can see education awards, what we've learnt and earned as we've progressed through our education. If we've done advanced leaders, whether we've supported in a leadership role within the club or within the district, and if there's additional roles or achievements that occur at a club level. So you get recognition for your achievements here. And so your achievement board is where all of that will be available. Apologies to everybody. I was hoping to have it clean and fresh so that you would see it, but it's not playing well for us at the moment. We'll still be able to show you everything. It just won't be blank as you'll see it. So when we go to Basecamp, we have another couple of sections that we can work with. We have obviously our paths and learning. So this is where now you'll see I'm actually working a number of paths at the moment. I'm doing motivational strategies, dynamic leadership, effective coaching. When you come in as a new member, you will just have one path and it will be the path that you selected. But before we jump down there, I just want to show you these other items here as well. Because achievements is where I mentioned that you get recognition and rewards for what you've achieved. So this here lists all the paths that you've signed up for. And you can see I've completed level 1 of motivational strategies, level 2 of motivational, level 4. I'm working on level 5 at the moment. I've done levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 of effective coaching. I'm working on level 5 at the moment. Okay. And I've got dynamic leadership. It's also, you get feedback badges. So your club can provide feedback and badges to members. So I have received 4 inspiring badges and 2 exceptional badges. It's really nice. I appreciate my club members having done that for me. It gives you an opportunity of looking at what you've achieved as you've spent your time in Toastmasters. Okay. Feedback is where you get feedback from members. Okay, so I've received some feedback here from a couple of people on delivery that I've given to them. There's also evaluation feedback. So as you've seen, if you've been to a few meetings, when prepared speeches are delivered, evaluators provide some feedback. And this is where you can actually come in and see information about the feedback and how to do it. So you can actually come in here. Every evaluation form for every speech is available in here. Okay. So if you're ever asked to do an evaluation, you can come in here and grab the evaluation form and prep for what the objectives the speaker is aiming to achieve. So these are all available here. You get your feedback and you have resources here to be able to provide feedback for others. Now, speaking of resources, oh my goodness, this page here, another best kept secret of Toastmasters, is so much learning and everything. It's crazy. So this is just loading up now. So project resources. There's a PDF here on social speech basics. Review the types of social speeches and how we can work with them. Focus on the positive. Write a communication plan. There are a huge number of resources for preparing any type of project. There's also specific project descriptions. So as you work through your path, you can access the descriptions for what people are working towards, but also, as we saw on the previous page, the evaluation resources as well. So the resources here not only provide you project information and evaluation information, but also just how to get ready to present your speech information. And there are many, many. I'm just going to hit view all and just to let it start loading some up. But I'm not going to stick around because there is so many here. Okay, so many. And again, a great, great use. Okay, so let's go back to our paths and learning. This is where the rubber hits the road. So I'm going to come into dynamic leadership. So this is the general structure of a pathway project. Well, pathway. You'll have on the left-hand side the what's known as the control panel. So this is where you see all the modules, all the different elements to the project. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit this one and go right back to the start to the overview. So when you first come in with your new project, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see level 1 and then the projects that are involved in level 1. Then you can see each pathway has 5 levels. And as you work through those levels, the projects get more complex. You have to apply more structure, and it really gets you working. So level 1 is what we're working on. So I can select level 1 and we'll get our section on the side. And this is where the learning comes into play. So the first speech of any path is the icebreaker. See down here, I've actually got all of these ticked because I've accessed each of these. So this is where you browse through. So these are your chapters, you can imagine. And then as you click on these, it will take you through. This area in the middle is your content. So the icebreaker, it talks about the icebreaker and then the resources. So you can download a checklist, what's actually required for the project, an evaluation resource, printing the icebreaker project. So if you don't want to read it online, if you're heading away for a couple of days and won't have access online, you can actually print off this whole project. Path level will start with this same structure. So in part 1, find an introduction, your assignment activity. So the introduction and assignment. The introduction, there's always an introduction and your assignment. So the purpose of your very first speech, to introduce yourself to the club and learn basic structure of public speech. Write and deliver a speech about any topic to introduce yourself to your club. I'm just going to jump forward in the content. So here's the chapters, but in the chapters, there's content in the middle. So if you hit next, you go to the next area. Now, sometimes it will be the next chapter, but other times it'll be more content. Each path will start with an assess and reflect, where it will ask you, what do I already know about this topic? And what do I wonder? What would I like to learn about this? And so this is a pre-project check-in. Okay. So you can type things in here, add new items, and then the list of competencies, and then you can move through. Part 2, so we've actually come down here, the icebreaker speech. So it's content. So there'll be activities within each page. Sometimes there'll be a video, sometimes there'll be reading, and then when you hit next, you'll go to your next piece of content. How do I remember the icebreaker? And so here's a video on how to work with your icebreaker and remember it. So all of this is here. And then your next step, I'm just going to quickly jump through now. So your content, you use the previous and next at the bottom. If you want to jump chapters, you can go to your chapter list on the left-hand side. After you've presented your speech, you've got the evaluation, review and apply your evaluation, and it asks you what are some strategies you can use to balance preparation and spontaneity, what are elements of the speech structure. So it just gives you a bit of an idea and a reflection opportunity. Then also, if I go to the next section now, so we're down here completing your assignment. So the project includes a 4 to 6 minute speech. Gives you exactly what you need. Your evaluation is based on a scoring of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can find out exactly what each of those do. Then your reflection on your learning. The big one here that I just want to point out is when you complete your project, you get no wonder, and this shows you what you entered at the start of the project. But then all of a sudden we get this learned. So what did you learn in doing this project? And this is there for every project that you do. So you can record what you learned. And then here is where you enter the details of your speech. So if you want to keep track of all your speeches you present, put in the speech title, when you presented it, which club you presented it, who the evaluator was. Now, this doesn't need to be filled in and you can just leave these areas blank, but it's a really good idea to keep track. I mean, I've done so many speeches, it'd be nice just to have a list, and this allows you to do that. So very quickly, level 1, that's your icebreaker. Then you've got writing a speech with purpose. If we click on that one, that's your second project, which is just loading. And you go through the same thing. It starts off with an intro and then a question of what do I already know? What do I wonder? And then takes you through what the requirements are and the learning. So clicking through the chapters here, and then at the end, completing your project, what did I learn? And adding the details of the speech. One final thing with when you've done that is before you move on, it's got the items here, and down the bottom you've got complete my project. Now this is where once you've presented your speech, once you've received your feedback and all of these in here are ticked, you hit this button here. And what this does is this lets your VPE and other leadership in the club know that you've finished your speech. You need to do that for the system to recognize that you've finished that part. You can just go on and keep doing your others, but you won't be recognized for it by the system or your club until you hit this complete my project. Please ensure that all of these are ticked first and that you have presented and received feedback. The system doesn't know what you do at the club, so you could just come in and hit this straight away. You could log in tomorrow, hit complete my project without doing anything, and the system will notify the club and the leadership about your completing this project and you're moving on to the next one. Now, that just makes it really hard for your VPE. Please only complete your project when you have completed your project, but make sure that you do. If there's one tricky part to pathways, it's this button here. Don't do it too soon, but always remember to do it. Okay. And then you've got your other projects, and then level 1 completion. When you've done all your projects in level 1, again, you can come in here. It will give you some information, submit the level for completion 1. If you're a member of one club, then it will just come up with that club. If you're a member of multiple clubs like I am, you choose which club you're going to give that level 1 progress to. So then once you've finished level 1, all of these will be ticked. You go back to your overview, and then you start on level 2, which is coming, and so we go there. Now, level 1 and level 2 just are core speeches. Everything's there. Once you get to level 3, you'll see here that there's electives. Now, electives is where Toastmasters allows members to customize their paths. So when you go to electives, you actually get an opportunity to choose from a range of projects. For level 3, of dynamic leadership, I need to do negotiate the best outcome, and then 2 electives. So you can come in here and choose any one of, or any 2 of these electives. You don't have to choose both of them straight away. But let's say that you wanted to, you had a big presentation coming up for work, and it was important that the audience really understood what you were saying. You've got connected with your audience here. Or if you're using PowerPoint or a presentation deck, maybe you'd like to learn how to do that very well. So this is where Toastmasters is just so sensational. You can make your learning how you want it. Whether it's about research, whether it's about putting in body language, it's all there for you. Okay, so you will know when you come to do your projects whether it will tell you whether you need to select electives. So for me, for dynamic leadership, I know that I'm going to focus on the positive. So I'm going to select that one, hit submit, and you'll see I've got negotiate the best there. And now that I've selected focus on the positive, elective selected, now focus on the positive is here for me to be able to access and run through as an elective. It's just like any other, but I get to choose what it is. The only other thing I want to show you here, I mean, we know about chapters, we can come through, replace negative thoughts, then we've got our content, and it all looks really good. There's some things to read here. And then I go next and previous, and I can work through all the content. The only other piece of navigation I'd like to show you is what's known as the breadcrumb. So at the top here, you can go back to home, you can go back to your particular path that you're working on, or you can go to your level. So if I select level 3, it will, on the left, instead of using the chapters, if I use the breadcrumb, it'll come back and open up at the base of level 3 and show me everything there. So that breadcrumb across the top is making it easy to access uh, different areas without trying to go through all of the chapters. You can just use the breadcrumb and jump up large sections in total. That's taking a while, so I'm just going to go back to the overview, and when the overview comes up, we'll see that the breadcrumb's there anyway. Please remember the complete my speech button. Only press it when you've done everything, but please remember to press it. That's the big one overall. So this is pathways in Toastmasters. There's so much that you can do. If you look at any training organization, there is nothing available like this where you get this whole online environment for anywhere near the price that we're paying for a Toastmasters membership. So with that, I wish everybody all the best in their path that they choose. And I know that Toastmasters is going to give you more than you even realize now. I know for me, I wish I'd started 20 years earlier. And the number of times I hear that is incredible. There's so much there for you. And it's now easier than ever to be able to access very structured, straightforward, step by step learning.